The mighty Sens live to fight another day. Welcome to the program. We are heading for a game number 5 in Toronto. The Sens avoided a sweep in the last game, and the excitement continues. Sens win 4-3 in overtime on, what was that now? I'm losing track here. Was that Saturday night? Yes, it was.
Yes, it
And,
was.
and a couple of extra days off. It's Steve Warren along with the coach, Greg Kennedy. Greg, how is it going?
It's going well, Steve. I wore my Roy Hobbs T-shirt.
Love it.
I'm looking for a miracle. I'm looking for a miracle victory or 3 miracle victories, I guess now.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of the great baseball movies. I have two minds on it. The baseball scenes were awesome, a little melodramatic, but
Yeah,
I'd like
yeah.
to, I could see, I would like to have seen that. The lights at Canadian Tire Center exploding with the natural theme in the background as Jake Sanderson lofts one in the top corner to keep the Senators alive in a 4-3 overtime victory. What did you think of Game 4?
I thought they were okay. I thought, okay, we're going to win this game. This is no problem. Geez, I said we again, Steve. I hate it when I do that. I thought they looked good. I thought they're going to win the game. The nice, comfortable 3-2. Okay, just nurse it home. And then Timmy Stew missed an assignment there, playing wing, covering up in the D zone, and that cross seam pass, and OEL scores. And then I immediately went to, oh God, they're going to lose it before it even gets to overtime. So good on them. They hung in there. And our poor friend Drake, my God, I felt for him, as I'm sure you did too. Drake Batherson sitting in the penalty box for 4 minutes, just praying through the whole thing. That's a big kill. That's a really big kill. They didn't give up a power play goal, and that's the first game they haven't given up a power play goal, and it's the first game they won. So maybe that's a telltale sign that they can win a game if they stay out of the box and they kill penalties. They can win a game.
I was absolutely certain the series was over when Batherson took the penalty.
Yeah.
Just the way, generally speaking. Now, the Leafs didn't get a power play goal, like you said, in the game, but their power play has been just so good throughout the playoffs in the early days. And I felt like you maybe survived one minor, but a double minor.
Mhm.
And initially, I was like, so who was it? It was which defenseman got clipped? I forget now.
It wasn't Tanev, was it? Geez, now you got
No,
me.
it was Tanev.
It was Tanev, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Tanev. And he goes over, and it didn't seem to be much blood or anything. It just seemed like he'd gotten clipped. The replay made it look like he was just sort of lightly clipped. But then he goes to the bench and he starts skating back to the referee after that. And all of a sudden, it's a geyser. It's a geyser. He's like, oh my God. It's like a Monty Python sketch all of a sudden with all the blood. But you're saying that the ref checked him out
Yeah.
immediately?
I saw it the same way you saw it
Okay.
and immediately hit rewind. I'm thinking like, whoa, where did all this blood come from? And I rewound it, and the ref was right there in the corner when it happened and made the call immediately and checked Tanev immediately and went to the box and called it 4 minutes. So he was definitely bleeding like immediately thereafter. But I think he went to the bench and some sort of, I think Macho Man Randy Savage came back from the grave and pulled out a hidden razor blade. That's why they have the tape around their wrists in the WWE. They got the razor blade in there, pull that out and slice the forehead open. That's what I was thinking too. Same thing as you. Like, my God, where'd all that blood come from? Didn't look that bad in the beginning. But yeah, the ref did check him out right off the bat and made the right call.
Yeah, I don't think you have to go to the extent of Randy Macho Man Savage. If you really wanted to be unscrupulous, I mean, all it takes is a trainer to get into the upper lip or something with a fingernail and give it a good little shot, and all of a sudden, kablam! 2 minutes turns into 4 minutes. But anyway, that was my thought. But you had told me off the air that you'd seen the referee go over immediately. It's not like the Ty Domi effect, Rico Parison back in 2003, 4. I forget exactly which one that was, but Ty Domi,
But the
the
thing about
Domi
that
family
one,
antagonizing us.
the thing about that one with Ty Domi was he'd never been cut. Like, that was the big deal about Ty Domi. Like, his head must be a rock. In all his fights, he'd never been cut. You never saw him ever bleed. And then all of a sudden, he got hit into the boards there by Pearson, and suddenly he was bleeding. Like, my God, quick! Somebody run up and check section 312 behind the grassy knoll and find the sniper. It was brutal how much he was bleeding that night. I thought for sure that Ty Domi did something to exaggerate or make himself bleed on that call anyway.
Yeah, no, don't know for sure, but no one would put that past him for sure. Part of the gamesmanship of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But Batherson, getting back to him,
Oh,
speaking of the Domi family, I mean, he had that terrible giveaway in the overtime in game two, and then the drive by on the back check against Max Domi for the game winning goal. He had another penalty, I think, I want to say game three, where a goal is scored right after while he's in the penalty box. And then this one, a double minor. I mean, it's not like Drake Batherson has had, you know, a poor series per se, but it's just these ill-timed penalties that are just murdering the Sens, and and a couple of gaffes to go with it as well. But part of it is the inexperience of it all. I mean, there's got to be an excitability factor with so many of these guys. It is an old cliche, the concept of trying to do too much. Sometimes
mhm.
that'll get you in penalty trouble, right?
And it was mentioned in the first game. You'll remember Kevin Bieksa talking about the fact that Tim Stützle had something like 8 hits. Like that's not Tim Stützle's game. Tim Stützle is F2, and he comes in and fishes a puck out of your feet after F1. Brady Tkachuk has knocked somebody to the wall. It's just people get a little hyped up, and in the case of Drake, he has not had a bad series. Like hasn't looked bad at all. He's looked pretty much like himself. Just these little glitches keep coming up. The one on the stick, the high stick, was just, why is your stick even that high to begin with, right? Like you're going in to complete a check.
Yeah.
Like your stick should be down on the ice and just lay your shoulder into them, but you end up getting the stick up, the giveaway, the earlier in game two. Just he's had a couple of glitchy moments, but otherwise, I don't think he's played badly at all. And that's what's letting him sleep at night. Like that's what's getting him through this. That's what's keeping him on an even keel, is knowing that he's not playing poorly. He's just had a couple of glitches.
He is the Sens Nation third man in, and we got to have his back for that reason.
Yeah.
He's been doing this show like almost on a monthly basis for like the last 4 years. So got to give him some Sens Nation karma somehow. So I'm going to take my microphone and I'm going to issue some Sens Nation karma. Ow, that
Oh,
actually hurts
okay.
a little bit. It's a big
Watch you
microphone.
don't
It's a
cut
big,
yourself.
painful microphone. Exactly, just like Ty Domi. Um, so good luck, and hopefully a turnaround for our third man in, Drake Batherson. There was another controversial moment in,
Mm-mm.
wasn't it? I don't think it was. No, it wasn't in the overtime, but it was late in the game, and it was the collision between Artem Zub and John Tavares. Leaf fans were livid, and Zub did get him with his shoulder and caught him in the head with said shoulder. I don't think it was intentional. Artem Zub's not really that kind of player, and it didn't look like there was any kind of drive or anger behind it. Like, "Ah, I'm going to get you." It just looked like, to me anyway, in front of the net, Zub was going to a spot, Tavares was going to a spot, and it ended up being a collision, and Tavares wasn't available for that double minor to Batherson in the power play in the overtime. So that was a big deal. And I will say this, I don't think it was intentional at all, but neither was Batherson's high stick. So
Yeah.
you probably could have called something there. So I think the Sens were very fortunate.
Yeah, I don't know that like you were of the opinion that they were kind of both going in different directions, or sorry, sort of heading in the same direction, but not really aware of where the other guy was. I think Zub had an idea that Tavares was there. I think he was definitely attempting to make contact with him and give him a little shot in the high slot there. I just think it was more shoulder elbow to the head or to the chin, and that could have been called. You're absolutely right. Could have easily been called, but it was a quick little thing in the middle of the zone, and maybe nobody's really looking there. The puck's not there, so the down low ref's not looking for it. Usually, the high ref is the guy looking at the front of the net, so it seems strange that nobody really called anything. I could understand Leaf fans being upset about it. I could understand Craig Berube and his team being upset about it. But you're right. It was not intentional. Zub's not that type of player. I think he was just trying to clear a guy out of the front of the net and got his elbow and his shoulder up in the wrong spot. And you hit him in a chin. That guy's gonna see stars and have to leave the game for a little bit. So they were fortunate that he wasn't available for that power play.
It was interesting that Jake Sanderson's overtime winner was so similar to Simon Benoit's overtime winner in game three. They're both the same place on the ice. They're both through traffic. A puck comes out of nowhere and ends up in the net. Very similar, and it was good to see Jake Sanderson get when he had a goal and an assist in the game. Biggest goal of his career, he called it. And wasn't it neat to see Michael Andlauer's reaction? Like, he
Mm-mm.
just looks like a guy's guy, like an average fan. And it was because I mean, you watch some owners. I'm not going to talk about past ownership here, but you see some owners in their jacket and tie up in the press box, and they're going, "Yay, we won the hockey game! Hooray!" Like Michael Andlauer looked in every way like a true hockey fan, a true hockey guy, and the way they would react when their team had a big moment like that.
You sounded like the mayor there singing in Wizard of Oz. The
I
voice,
don't even know that reference.
the voice. Do that voice again. Your owner voice. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
my, hey, let's go, we won,
that
yay, look at
voice
us
right
go,
there.
yay.
Anyway, um, sorry. I agree with you. I think it's great. Like, wouldn't you like to be hanging out with the guy? Like, doesn't he seem like the kind of guy that you could sit around with, have a couple of pints, and watch the game in the box with him? I think that they're missing out on some PR opportunities there. They should be having one or two fans a game get an opportunity to sit in the owner's box with Big Mike. I think it'd be awesome. Like, he's just a fan. And the nice thing about him is, like, this isn't new. Like, it's not some rich millionaire who just bought a hockey team and now he's, or sorry, rich billionaire who just bought a hockey team, so now he's kind of forced into being a hockey fan. Like, you don't think Ted Leonsis was always a hockey fan. He just bought the Washington Capitals one day and sort of became a hockey fan. Michael Andlauer what played the game, was been a fan of the game all his life, was a part owner with the Habs. This guy's a hockey fan, and he watches a game and looks like a hockey fan. I thought his reaction was great. It should be a meme all over the internet, like Pierre throwing his coffee at the TV. Like, that's the kind of, this is the better half of what you want to see from the owner's box during a game. I thought it was great.
That's a hell of a week, right? You think about, the things that have happened to you this week, me this week, the good listener this week. How about a week where you made $2.2 billion in the sale of your company? Just
Jesus.
pocket that there right in my back pocket and then get to enjoy your first playoff victory. And that had to be a dream of his, I'm sure, as the owner of the Ottawa Senators. So that's a pretty good week for Michael Andlauer. Meanwhile, while speaking of the celebration, Sens captain Brady Tkachuk
Mm.
on the ice after the game. He was named one of the game stars. He delivers his hockey stick, and after he does, and for those who've not been to the game or seen that procedure, I'm sure most people have, but he basically delivers a souvenir stick to a fan over the glass and then skates off the ice. Maybe he'll be interviewed, maybe he'll not. In this case, though, he starts hollering at the fans as he skates back across the ice toward the Sens dressing room, and he keeps saying he's pointing down at the ice and yelling at the crowd, "We'll be back.
Hmm.
We'll be back." I don't know if it's Mark Messier level guarantee per se,
uh,
although I never actually heard Mark Messier say the words or anything,
mm.
but it does dabble in that. He's suggesting that there will be another game back in Ottawa.
Well, yeah, we'll be back pretty much says we're going to win, right? That you're pretty much guaranteeing a win in game 5 in Toronto if you're going to be back on the ice there in Ottawa for game 6. Good on him. Like, he's fired up. He if he thought about it, maybe in retrospect, looking back, 2020 hindsight, maybe I should have done that. Oh, I don't know. But I haven't heard too much of it in the media. You and I are talking about it now, but I really haven't heard too much. I haven't seen anything out of Toronto papers being all over it. I don't know that it's really registered at all in Toronto, because unless you were at the game, you don't really see the 3 stars. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it. He's the captain of the team. He's fired up. He has confidence. He believes they will win game 5. And what do you want him to do? Do you want him to say, well, thanks guys, it's been a great year. Sorry, this is our last home game. See you next year. Like, I thought it was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it at all in my mind.
There's no downside except for the chirps you'll get if you're wrong.
Yeah.
People will sometimes say about the bulletin board fodder, "Oh, the Leafs get wind of that. They'll be they'll be playing that on their phones and playing it in the dressing room. Oh, look at their captain saying they're going to win this game." I think that none of that is relevant. You put whatever you want on the bulletin board to inspire yourself, But what, the Leafs are suddenly going to want to win more in Game 5 than they
Yeah.
currently do? I think they're at about 1,000% already. This might take them to 1,001, whatever. The only danger in doing it is, they'll throw it back in your face if you
Right.
end up losing. And I don't think Brady Tkachuk gives a crap about that stuff. And he talked about the fact that after that victory, and very excited about it, obviously, to be kind of 25% back in the series. Excited about just spending some time with family, get an extra day off in there, which is kind of cool. You don't often see it in the Stanley Cup playoffs where you get an extra day off. And Travis Green talking to the guys after the game, great game, saying all the right things, but really made it clear that he wanted them to step away from the pressure cooker of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Just go do something to get you away from hockey, which I thought was kind of cool. He addressed it again today when asked about it at the news conference, suggesting a Green Day on holiday. Huh? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. This
Yeah,
is Travis
okay.
Green in conversation with the media.
Extra day off helps. I think it's helped our group. I'm sure they'll say the same thing. It's helped them. When you play 4 games in 7 days, there's not only physically but emotionally as well.
One of the messages you told your team following that win was don't carry the weight of the next game for the next few days. How have you hoped that they spend their day off yesterday and try to get away from the game today?
Yeah, with whatever makes them, or whatever things that they enjoy doing, really, whether it's just relaxing or I don't know, going to dinner, whatever they want to do. I know a lot of guys still come in to get rehab, and it's that part of the year and stretch out a little bit. But I think it's important that you get your mind off of it. There's a lot of talk. As a player, you're always thinking about it. It's hard to get away from it internally. It's also hard to get away from it externally. Everyone you talk to wants to bring up the series or the games, the playoffs, and that's the exciting part. It's not a bad thing, but I think it is important if you can just get away and do something that isn't hockey related. And you've talked about winning the day a lot, and sometimes winning the day is giving yourself a mental break.
There's Travis Green in conversation with the media, that courtesy of the Sens YouTube channel. I guess I'm of two minds of it, because I do like the idea of stepping away and because you've got this Herculean task in front of you, trying to do something that only 4 teams have ever done. But at the same time, I wonder how mentally pushed you are just 4 games into the Stanley Cup playoffs. We got a long haul here. True. And it's pretty early in the process to be needing a mental break per se. So I guess I'm of two minds on it. I see both sides. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. You remember the days when a 7-game series would be 2 games back to back, then a night off, then 2 games back to back, then a night off, then one on off. You used to play a 7-game series in what, like 10 days basically. So yeah, do they really need that much time off? We complain about it sometimes as fans because we want to see another game. But if you got the time off, then take it. I agree with Travis Green. I mean, they're still in a practice today, which is great. Like, how often do you get a practice in the playoffs? So that was nice, and I'm sure they were happy to have that. Just do a couple of simple things. I'm sure they weren't on the ice for much more than 40 minutes, if that, today. But yeah, the whole idea of take a day off, decompress, get away from the rink, do nothing. Just don't forget Sunday. They had Sunday off, right? And then most of today, other than a practice. So yeah, take a rest, take a breather, get reset, decompress, be ready to go Tuesday.
Yeah, we are recording on one of those days off, and we had a 23-degree day. Spring has finally sprung in Ottawa. I guess I don't need the Senator's hot stove rolling behind me, but there it is. There it is all the time. It's cool at night still. Tell you what, but yeah, the Senator hot stove is about to extinguish. Oh, no. We'll leave it on as long as the playoffs keep going. That's what we'll do. I don't care if it's like early June. The Senator fire will not go out until the Senator season is extinguished.
Ready for the big game? Your home should be too. With Celebrate Lights, you can show your team spirit and light up every victory. Sync your lights to your team's colors and let the whole neighborhood know when they score. Match your team's colors celebrate every win, and take the excitement to the next level. Celebrate permanent holiday lighting, the easiest way to set the stage for unforgettable moments.
A couple other things. Why no viewing party? Like, it seems like every Leaf game, whether it's home or away, I'm looking at this great sea of Leaf fans at a big viewing party outdoors with these giant screens and always these cutaways of them freaking out. Like, I might be speaking out of my you-know-what, but I've heard no discussion of it. I haven't seen it
Right.
anyway. I wonder why that is. Do you have any sense of
I have no idea.
why they wouldn't be doing that?
You remember when before the playoffs started, before we knew who the opposition was going to be, before things were set up, I heard Cyril talking, Cyril Leader, an interview with somebody, and he was talking about, well, we'll look into opening the arena. Like, they haven't even had bring your canned goods and watch the game at the CTC while the Sens are in Toronto. You haven't even had any of those. The problem with the viewing party is, like, where do you do it? I don't think people are going to drive out to Canada and stand around out front of the rink or in a parking lot or something. Like, the fact that we don't have a downtown arena probably plays into this. When the day comes sometime, if we're still alive to see it, Steve, there may be a rink downtown somewhere. It'll probably happen then. The thing with the Red Mile hasn't really taken off yet. And I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day too. Do you remember we used to do things in the back lot at TSN there? NFL games, the first game of the season, Monday nighters. Like, why hasn't the radio station come up with something and thrown a party in there in the back parking lot or something? It's a missed opportunity for fans to get together and be with fellow fans, and have a good time and get out in public. I don't know. Is it an alcohol licensing thing? Is that what it is? Because it's not just Toronto. Montreal does it. Winnipeg does it. Edmonton does it. I'm not sure about American teams, but I'm sure they all do it too. It's just weird that we haven't had anything. Even though I just gave you a whole list of reasons why we don't, I still think we should, at the very least, open up the rink and let people watch it on the big screen inside the rink. Why not?
Yeah. Maybe they have other dates or the concerts or something, conflicts. Perhaps the outdoor stuff isn't happening simply because the weather forecasts are pretty generally reliable with, temperatures, rain and snow, not so much, but the temperature, then get a sense of it. And we really haven't any good weather. I think we're getting rain tomorrow, for example. So maybe they're kind of measuring it as they go 48 hours out. And if it's good, we'll do something. I don't know. But it is interesting. I just throw that out there out of a curiosity, not as a criticism, because I'm sure there are good reasons for it. Because, well, there's money to be made in that stuff. And when there's money to be made, most teams will jump on that stuff. Couple of non-Senator issues. Was on Monday morning. The Pittsburgh Penguins mutually parted ways with head coach Mike Sullivan. There's the guy that was responsible for taking the Sens out in their last playoff series run, and that was in 2017. And he's been with the Penguins for a very long time, but they parted company today. And I got to say, if I'm Sullivan and I've got options out there and the Penguins are interested in moving on from me, even though I've got, I think, 2 or 3 years left of my contract, I'd probably go ahead and take that because there is a lot of interest in there, in that guy from 2 teams in particular, but probably all 6 teams that are looking for a new coach potentially for next year.
And I think it goes beyond the 6 teams that are looking for a coach, Steve. This may be a St. Louis Blues Doug Armstrong situation where a guy's going to lose his job. Just Jim Montgomery suddenly available, fire the coach, hire Jim Montgomery. I can see that happening. There's a lot of teams in the NHL. I could make a list right now that would gladly do that if they had the nuts to step up and do it. But in particular, I'm thinking if I'm Joe Sacco, interim coach of the Boston Bruins, I didn't feel as good Monday afternoon as I felt when I got up in the morning on Monday. And of course, the Rangers don't have a coach, so there's an opportunity. I believe the Ducks are still looking for a coach. There's other teams out there hunting and searching.
Chicago.
Mike Sullivan, sorry, did I miss a team?
Chicago's in there.
Chicago, yeah. Mike Sullivan will be out of work for exactly as long as he wants to be out of work. He'll have a job the day he decides he wants one. Boom, it's done. Like, I'm sure when he feels like it, just have the agent make a couple calls, see what kind of offers we get. Let's make a decision. And by the end of that day, he'll be hired somewhere. He'll be out of work as long as he wants to be, and not a second longer.
Yeah, I'm really torn on who it'll be. He's got ties to both the Bruins and the Rangers organizations. Um, when they hired Peter Laviolette, it was only after they realized Sullivan, okay, he's staying in Pittsburgh, and um, so the Rangers love him. They drafted him as a player, and of course Sullivan has been a head coach in Boston before, so there's a bit of unfinished business there. He also went to, I think if memory serves, he may have gone to. I'm not sure if it was Boston College or Boston University or maybe both. Maybe he transferred halfway through. I'm not sure, but he grew up just outside of Boston.
Exactly.
So it seems tailor made that the Bruins would back up a bunch of a dump truck full of money for the guy.
Philly
They're
too.
saying that he might get, yeah, they're in there. And there's one other anyway, but the point is, I think both those organizations would be jacked to get him. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And the last thing is the Montreal Canadiens find themselves in the same spot that the Ottawa Senators are in. They got beaten in the last game. Was it 5-2? I think something like that. And they're down 3-1 in their series as well. Is that a series that the Habs have a chance to extend, or do the Caps finish it off in 5?
I thought the Habs had a much. I didn't think they had a chance when it started, and the more I watched the series, the more I thought, yeah, maybe they do have a shot. And I really thought they did, even in this game, the last game. Like they could have won that game, Steve. But Tom Wilson with the hit heard around the world, I think that hit it completely changed that series. And I Washington's on their way now. I don't think Montreal's going to come back from 3-1.
What about the Ottawa Senators, though, as we wrap up the program? Off to Game 5. Brady Tkachuk says they'll be back.
Yeah.
You're doing the Terminator thing. I'll be back. We'll be back. What do you think? Will they be back?
Well, don't let them win Game 5. If they win Game 5, then I can see this
That's what
sucker
I've been
going
saying.
7. Yeah, don't let them win Game 5. I feel like Kevin Millar in the Bo Sox Yankees series there. He just kept saying it. Don't let us win one. Don't let us win one. So if they can, okay, here's the keys, right? Allmark has to be the better goaltender again. You got to win the special teams battle. If you can keep them to no power play goals, again, beautiful. And I really think they got to score first. They really have to score first. Like, I mean, they scored first. Shane Pinto scored. They won the game. The usuals, right? They really need to score first. They need to have a strong first period, good, strong start on the road. And I think they've got a shot. They got a shot. And if they win Game 5, I can see it going 7.
I think that's the lifeline for the Senators, in that Toronto's record when they have a chance to close out a series, that record is vomitous. Vomitous.
Is that even a word?
This maybe this. It is. Look it up. Vomitous. I wouldn't just make up words here, Greg. But I will dabble in hyperbole. I believe the record is 1-82. 1-82 in games so they can close it. No, it's like 1-11, 1-12, something like that. It's not good. So there's as JR used to put it, there's maybe a lack of clutchiness there to put things away. But I will say this, and I took some flack already for this, saying it on the show with Jimmy yesterday. I really am impressed with the Leafs. Like they really, like Tree Living did a lot of good things there, like bringing in a goalie, bringing in a couple of defensemen, bringing a couple of bigger bodies up front to insulate what I call soft skill. That's a Freddie Parker term that I learned at one of your coaching clinics, by the way.
Right.
This soft skill, hard skill.
Yeah.
They had a lot of soft skill in recent seasons, but they've really, much like the Sens have, they've done a really good rebalancing act with their roster, and I've been really impressed with what they've done. They really look formidable to me. And I think my brain's about to explode that I'm talking this way, Greg.
Well, it was a complete, if we're going to go that way, then we're going to discuss it, but complete change in philosophy. I've had a team building philosophy, right? Kyle Dubas was all about underlying stats and skill to the point that didn't think you required third and fourth line mucker and grinders. Didn't think you required bottom pairing defensemen of size and muscle. just believed that skill was good enough, and on skill alone you could win, and all those pieces below are interchangeable. That's why you saw different third line and fourth lines almost every year that Kyle Dubas was running the Leafs, because they didn't matter. In the just all that mattered was how much money you had to pay those guys, because the skill guys were all you needed. And obviously it didn't work. And yeah, Jim Treliving came in and basically made all the changes that everybody in Leaf Nation has been crying and whining about in all the media for years now. They're not tough enough. They need more depth on the blue line. They need better goaltending. They need consistent performance out of their bottom six, yada, yada. And all those things Treliving addressed. And boom, now they are. They're a much better team. And yeah, like, I hate to say it, but if they get by the Senators, like they're a force. Who knows how far they can go this year, Steve?
Yep, it's a lot like the Pierre Dorion effect, and Pierre Dorion. I mean, I don't like to speak ill. He paid for his situation with his job, but it really felt at times like he's building a hockey pool rather than a roster.
Right.
And Steve Stais has come in and rebalanced things and provided some of the elements as best he can with what he's been given, but tried to provide some of the elements that were missing. So a similar thing, like I say, has happened here in Ottawa, and it's going to be. I hope the series continues. I really do, because it really will get good. I think to go back to Ottawa, like you said when I asked you the question, I think it's really, yeah, Toronto is still very much in the driver's seat, but you better wrap it up, Toronto, in game number 5, or things could get extremely interesting very quickly. The media pressure, 1967, the long drought, it'll all kind of come to a boil if the Leafs don't wrap it up in game 5. So I'm very fascinated to see how it goes. And with that, we'll take our leave. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us here on the program today. SensNationHockey.com is our website. Greg, enjoy your evening. Enjoy game number 5, and we'll talk to you hopefully before game number 6.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Steve. Have a good night.